I'm going to be discussing nightshades and why some people, such as Tom Brady, avoid them. So we will discuss that in a little bit. And I'm going to talk all kinds of stuff about nightshades and what they are and everything like that. But first, I want to go back to our conversation from last week when Lisa was asking about coffee. And I wanted to follow up about that conversation because I know that there are a lot of differing opinions about coffee out there. And I just wanted to confirm that, yes, coffee is okay to drink. And I have some iced coffee here today that I've been enjoying this afternoon. I did have the green tea. So last week we talked green tea. So if you missed last week's episode, tune in because we talked green tea, red wine, chocolate. We got touched a little bit on the coffee part too, about caffeine. But I wanted to just briefly talk about all the good things about coffee, and then we'll move on to nightshades. So coffee, there are so many benefits, and the downsides are so minimal compared to the benefits that it was a very positive experience looking up data on it. But well, first and foremost, coffee is good for energy, which we all know, and also it helps because of the energy component. It does also help improve athletic performance, which some people drink coffee before they work out, so that's something. And then this next list that I have for you is just great. So it has so many protective effects on the body. So it can help protect against type 2 diabetes and cancer and Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. It can help decrease the risk of cardiovascular disease like heart attack and stroke, and also decrease the risk of liver conditions such as cirrhosis or liver cancer. And basically it's just an okay thing. And I was looking, and they say like maximum about 400 milligrams of caffeine per day, which is 3 to 5 cups, depending on how strong you make your coffee or how strong you order your coffee. But just a rule of thumb, like about a scoop has about 100 milligrams. I remember doing that research when I was pregnant because I know that they say about 200 milligrams for pregnancy, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get my 200 milligrams, and so that was like 2 scoops of the grounds. And one other thing I did find that some of the bad things. Good things list huge, bad things list very small. And basically it was just saying that like if it upsets your digestive system, or gives you heartburn, or keeps you up at night, or increases anxiety or stress, then they say to avoid it, obviously. But otherwise, those were kind of the negative things that I saw, which I don't know. That was a pretty short list. But I also did find that coffee, any form for the most part was good, except they did find that instant coffee had a little bit less of benefits for the body. And filtering was the best, like a filtered, if you do like drip coffee. They did find that was the best for the beneficial effects. So anyway, in my research, I was looking up for something like a fun recipe to include in today's talk for coffee, and I was looking at relish.com and found there's an article on Simply Recipes, and it was called "Make Better Iced Coffee with Coffee Ice Cubes," which I forgot that I used to make coffee ice cubes at a coffee shop that I used to work at. So you just brew your coffee if you have leftover coffee or whatever. Then you pour that into the ice cube tray, and then when you're making iced coffee, instead of just regular ice watering your coffee down, you have coffee infused ice, which Great. Okay, let's see. Oh, Yippee, always wanted to know these things about coffee. Thank you. Oh, sure. Yeah, I know. I was really happy to find out as well because I love the reason to drink coffee. So we're good. We're good on the coffee front. And coffee ice cubes, they're the way to go for your iced coffee. I know yesterday it was warm here in Seattle, and an afternoon iced coffee sounded so good. So coffee ice cubes, these are, here I have a little visual, there we go. Well, it's kind of hard to see them. But we do French press, and so the bottom is a little bit darker because it kind of goes down. These are great ideas for coffee cubes. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Bara. Hi. Yeah, but coffee cubes are the best. So check them out. You can read an article if you want to know more about it on Simply Recipes. Make better iced coffee with coffee ice cubes. So anyway, let's get on to the discussion of nightshades. So I know there's a lot of talk out there about people avoiding nightshades, and so let's talk about it. And then I have a recipe that we can discuss as well. I have all the ingredients and everything behind us. So, oh, and those are my Mother's Day flowers right there. Are they pretty? Hi, Mara. Oh, hi. Thank you for tuning in. So, nightshades, they're a botanical family of foods, spices, and flowers. So we are mostly familiar with the foods. And I'll go through the list. I have some visual aids because I like visual aids. They always help me remember things. So basically, let's just dive right in the with the foods. Tomatoes. If you guys follow me on Instagram or Facebook, you saw me holding these two ingredients today. Tomatoes, and if you want to follow me, my Instagram is at Alli Shercliffe, and Facebook as well, and I'm on Twitter too. That's at An Open Cookbook. But anyway, tomatoes. I know that is something that a lot of people love. And then any kind of pepper, bell pepper, sweet peppers, hot peppers, jalapenos, bell peppers. Or if you're looking at ingredients in something, pimento would be in the list as well. We've got potatoes, just the white fleshed potatoes. Sweet potatoes are totally fine. Eggplant, paprika, cayenne, tomatillos, and I didn't know this until I did some research, goji berries, and Cape gooseberries, which are called ground cherries. They're not like the cherry fruit that we eat, but it's a little bit different. And then tobacco is also a nightshade. I did not know that as well. And the flower, the most commonly known flower is the belladonna, which is, I found this out through my research as well, but it is the poison that they use in Macbeth. So is from the belladonna flower. So that's kind of the list. I think I got everything. Yes, that's the list. And if you are avoiding them, then just be sure, like for potatoes, like if you're looking at ingredients, like potato starch is also part of the nightshade. And it comes from this botanical family. The Latin name is Solanaceae. Solanaceae. I had to spell that out for myself because it looks different than it sounds. Solanaceae. And nightshades originate in Central and South America, but we do have over 100 varieties in North America as well. And I also wanted to know why nightshades are called nightshades, because they, this list of vegetables and fruits, they don't look anything alike. So I thought that was interesting. More like Macbeth. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Lisa, for putting my Instagram. I usually follow up the day after relish with the recipe that I have made in the show. So follow me on Instagram. But anyway, I did a little research to find out why nightshades are called nightshades, because they don't look anything alike. and they don't taste anything alike. So basically the consensus is it is unknown for sure why they're called nightshades. But there are two theories out there. One theory is because they have been, like the stems and the leaves has been known to be poisonous, like in the belladonna. And so they think of it as like a dark thing, like a nightshade. But also, some other people think it's because of the shape of some of the flowers. Like the belladonna does look like a lamp, like the shade of a lamp. So, and maybe all the other flowers do as well. I didn't find that part out, but those were the theories. So I don't know. I like both of them. I think the nightshade, like the physical nightshade, kind of makes the most sense. But there we go. That's a little bit of the background of nightshades. So why do people avoid them? That is the question. And in research, it has been found that Tom Brady and his wife Giselle, they avoid nightshades, and their reason is because some people believe that it causes inflammation, and that's kind of the main reason why some people avoid them, and particularly people with autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, MS, gout, IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. Honestly, I'd never heard of the term nightshades for veggies. It isn't a little late for the chat, just want to say. Coffee ice cubes, brilliant. Oh yeah, great, thank you both. I know, nightshade is kind of an interesting term, especially because these vegetables don't really seem like they have anything in common. But yes, coffee ice cubes. Thank you, Blake, for the shout out for the coffee ice cubes. So the autoimmune diseases, some people believe that these nightshades cause inflammation. And to go a little bit deeper into that idea, the main compound that is in the common compound that's in the nightshades is alkaloids. And these are nitrogen. It's a nitrogen containing substance that's mostly in the leaves and the stems of the vegetables and fruits. It's much less in the edible part, but it does still exist. And in the stems and the seeds, or the stems and the leaves, it acts as an insect, like a natural insect repellent. It's bitter. And so some people believe that these alkaloids do then cause irritation and inflammation in the body. So especially some people believe that affects the joints and maybe the digestive system too. So alkaloids are the main thing. I also found in some research that vitamin D, the form of vitamin D that is in the nightshades is D3. It's the highest in D3, and they found in animals that the body processed it differently than other forms of vitamin D, and it can maybe deposit calcium in areas of the body, the soft tissues, rather than in the bones, and that could cause irritation, especially for people that do have arthritis or gout or issues with joints. So that is another theory. And also that another compound called lectins also appears in the nightshades, and that has been found that it could maybe irritate the digestive tract as well. So these three main things, the alkaloids, the vitamin D transferring calcium, and the lectins are kind of the main reason. And but there isn't a whole lot of research. I looked and looked and looked, and there just isn't a whole lot of research on that being necessarily true in the sense of affecting everybody. You know, it may affect people with the autoimmune diseases, and definitely, I would say if people feel better not eating them, then they should definitely continue doing what they're doing, and that is great that it can help. But people that don't find symptoms when they have the eat nightshades, especially tomatoes or anything like that, then there really is no reason to avoid them, because there's so many good things, which I'll get into next, is all the benefits of the vegetables and fruits that are in the nightshade family. Just kind of in the same idea that people of avoiding them. There was one study I found that they did in mice, that they fed them potato skins, and these mice had IBS, and their symptoms were aggravated by it. So I think, if it was just potato skins, that was probably pretty concentrated, and I don't know if our systems are exactly like mice. But that was just one study I found. Otherwise, there's so much more information. I was looking at the Arthritis Association, or the Arthritis Foundation's website, and they recommend a Mediterranean diet with lots of fish and fruits and vegetables and olive oil and all of that, and that included tomatoes. So it's definitely a lot of differing information out there, for sure. But those are the reasons why some people may be avoiding them. But I definitely think that we don't all need to avoid them. Because, and then I was going to mention the a lot of times people that are avoiding nightshades, they follow the AIP diet, which is called the Autoimmune Protocol Diet. And it's a lot like the paleo diet, except that it's more restrictive. So you don't eat eggs, dairy. So you're avoiding eggs, dairy, grains, beans, legumes, coffee, chocolate, nuts and seeds, spices like cayenne and paprika, and vegetable oils, processed foods, alcohol, additives. And then it's just really heavy on the leafy greens. So you can eat leafy greens and meats, and cruciferous vegetables and fruits and avocado. So that's typically a diet that a lot of people with autoimmune diseases follow, but definitely not something that everybody has to do. Oh, Emily, we have a comment from Emily. I was looking into trying out an acne medication at one point, and my dermatologist took a blood sample and told me my potassium levels looked really high. A lot of foods on the lists were nightshades. Do nightshades typically have high potassium levels? Good question, Emily. I did find that some of them do, but I will have to get back to you on if all of them do. That is an interesting question. I'm not sure. So I do know that like potatoes are high in potassium, and what else? I think eggplant might have a good amount too. So I will look into that, and I will get back to you. That's a good question. Speaking of that, some of the nutrients that we do find, the list of potatoes, tomatoes, avocados. Oh, okay. I eat those frequently. Yeah, those are all delicious. Potatoes, tomatoes, and avocados, especially all together, like for a brunch item. But yeah, I will look into that and get back to you. But all the good things about the nightshade vegetables and fruits: eggplant, very high in vitamin C, or moderately high in vitamin C, and B6, magnesium, iron, folate. They're all high sources. All the vegetables and fruits have good amounts of fiber in them. Tomatoes are high in lycopene, which is an antioxidant, which is really good for heart health. And let's see what else. Also vitamin A, vitamin C, potassium. And potatoes, good source of vitamin C, fiber, potassium, and they're delicious. If you are avoiding the potatoes, though, sweet potatoes are a good option. Like most of the anti-inflammatory diets, and paleo and all that, those include sweet potato. So that's always good. Sweet potato fries, or baked sweet potato, or cooked sweet potato in a smoothie is delicious. I'm always going to come back to smoothies. So let's see. Oh, and then I did find too a couple of recommendations if you are avoiding, or if you just want to like lessen the amount of nightshades, or if you still want to eat them but modify them. They do recommend to peel the potatoes, because I think that the alkaloids are higher in the potato skins. And avoid eating green tomatoes versus the red tomatoes because the green tomatoes have higher amounts of the alkaloids. And also cook the foods, the potatoes and tomatoes and all of that, because that reduces the amount as well. So those are the recommendations. Claudia, what is the name of the autoimmune diet again? The one like paleo. Oh, it's called the AIP diet, autoimmune protocol diet. And it's a pretty hot topic these days. I think a lot of people are trying it out. But yeah, if you Google it, you'll find lots of articles and websites on the AIP diet. So, in the spirit of a no nightshade meal, even though I do eat a lot of nightshades, we have, as my husband was just saying to our neighbor, Blake, we have 12 tomato plants here, so we will not be avoiding the nightshades or tomatoes this summer because we eat them a lot. But in the spirit of no nightshades, I have a recipe, and it's loosely based off of a recipe called no tomato pasta sauce from allrecipes.com. But I did modify it quite a bit, fair amount. But the base is carrots and beets. And, I totally understand. Modified to add tomatoes. Not this one, but you can. And I have to be fully transparent here that I have not actually ever tried this recipe. And so I've prepared part of it today because it does take a little while. So the original recipe talked about using canned tomatoes and canned beets, but I wanted to use fresh. And so I steamed them so that it was kind of the same texture as a canned beet or a canned carrot. So I have about, here I'm going to show you. So I already steamed them I steamed the beets for 10 minutes, and then I added the carrots, and then I steamed those for like 10 minutes more, so about 20 minutes total. So carrots and beets. We get a vegetable box. We're part of a vegetable box service, and we get vegetables every 2 weeks, and we got some baby carrots last time, so I used those. I steamed those, but any version of carrot. And beets. So I cut off the outside of the beets a little bit, just the parts that were, like the red skin was kind of thick, but I did keep the skin on some of them. So I'm going to put those in the blender. You can they kind of blends in because of the flowers behind. Okay. So before that, though, I'm going to mention that I also sauteed an onion, like a small to medium onion, and 4 cloves of garlic. So those I sauteed for a long time because we like our onions and garlic kind of caramelized. So those were cooking for probably an hour, but you definitely don't have to cook them that long. You could cook them for just 5 minutes, and that's fine. I'm going to turn the heat back on. So about 1.5 cups of beets, 1.5 cups of carrots. That's about what I have. And we're going to put the lid on. And then I saved some of the liquid from steaming. It looks like beet juice because I figured this would be kind of hard to blend. Okay. So there we go. I apologize in advance. This might be a little bit loud, but hopefully it'll be quick. So here we go. That's a little bit thick. Excuse me just 1 second. I'm going to get the little, sorry everybody. I'm going to get this piece so I can like push the beets down a little bit. Okay, here we go. All right. Now we have the pureed beets, the pureed carrots, and it does look nice. It does look like the texture of tomato sauce so far. Some people call it no-nato sauce. If you Google that, you can find it. So here we go. Here is the puree. And then I'm going to add that to the onions and the garlic. And then I might add a little bit more of the liquid to here too. Okay, so I've got this going. And then I'll add some of the steaming liquid as well. Oh yeah, that looks nice. Okay, so then you stir this all together. It is a really pretty red color. And then you add the couple of recipes that I found put a lot of Italian seasoning, but I like Italian seasoning, but just not a ton. So I did a teaspoon. Some of them said like 2 tablespoons. So a teaspoon. A teaspoon Italian seasoning, 1 bay leaf, and oh yeah, and then one recipe I found put nutritional yeast in theirs. So you can find this at Trader Joe's or online or at a lot of grocery stores. I did about a tablespoon, and this I think will add just like a little bit of depth to the sauce. And I did 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. And there we go. And then you're just supposed to simmer this for, I looked at so many different recipes, and some said 15 minutes, some said 30 minutes to 4 hours. So I think it just kind of depends on, how rich you want your sauce. So here we go. So this is, here, I'll come over and show you. Ooh. No tomato pasta sauce or no-nato sauce. And you could use this with anything. Pasta. We're going to have it tonight on pasta. I'll probably put it on some gnocchi. And, but you could also, if you do zoodles, like you spiralize the zucchini, you can put it on that, or it almost I think I'll add a little bit more water to thin it out, but you could almost use it as a dip too. So lots of options out there. Thanks, Lisa. Yeah, I know. I think it looks pretty good too. I will let everybody know how it is next week. But I think, especially with the Italian seasoning and the bay leaf and lots of onion and garlic, that it's going to taste pretty good and healthy. Beets are such a healthy vegetable, and they're so pretty as well. So, long story short, nightshades. We've got tomatoes, eggplant, potatoes, bell peppers, hot peppers, tomatillos, paprika, cayenne. Those are all the nightshades. Some people avoid them because of inflammation or irritation, or just not feeling well when they eat them. And some people don't have any symptoms. So if you don't have any symptoms, I say continue eating them because there's so many good things about them. And if anybody has any topics they'd like to discuss, please put those in the chat, or you can send me a message on Instagram as well. But I'd love any suggestions. I love everybody's comments. Thank you, everybody, for being here and commenting and watching the show. See you next time. Bye.